The weather is up and down here in England. I feel so British for starting off our conversation talking about the weather. That's such a British thing to do. But the weather has actually been up and down here in England with lovely sunny weather for 1 minute and rain the next. But this morning was just beautiful. So I decided to head outside as we sort of do most mornings. But instead of just pottering around with the children, I decided to try and get some cleaning done. Sometimes I can hardly get past the general tidying, a bit like it is in the home really, but each season has its purpose. And maybe one day I'll have the time to spend out here doing all the work that I dream of doing and getting all the things done. But for now, I have precious little people at my feet that take most of my time. And so I'm choosing that. After all, this season will just so not last forever. And I just want to embrace the cuteness and the loveliness and the precious season of having 2 toddlers and a baby on the way. This season will never be here again. And so it's really precious for me to try and embrace all that's around me. I'm picking some fresh bay leaves up from our beautiful bay leaf tree here that has been doing so well year after year, and I'll be using this in some homemade stock. And while the kids are playing outside, I decided to make some bone broth. We have all been very sick. I don't know if you could tell from my last couple of videos, my voice has just been hilariously off and bad. And so I've been making lots of fresh soups with a lot of vegetables. Having homemade broth will just be perfect to add to those delicious soups and give us all the nutrients that we need. I add pretty much anything to my bone broth. I recently purchased a huge pot of garlic from Costco, and I've been trying to make my way through that because as a family of 4 we don't really get through that much garlic like the huge Costco pots, but my desire is to one day. And so I added a whole bulb into this stock and lots of fresh parsley. I say fresh, it was slightly on the way out, that's why I dumped it all in. And I just mix it all up. I like to add salt to my stock so I don't have to add salt to too many of the dishes that they go into, and it just adds for a really, really nice flavour. And I just add a ton of water and put it in the pressure cooker and let that sit for about an hour and a half. And then I pretty much just leave it. I don't take the pressure cooking lid off. I leave it on and let it sit all day. Just let that sit and do its thing. And then I'll pour that into jars eventually when it's nice and cool. My sourdough loaves this week, I've decided to try a new recipe, which I am really excited about, although a little nervous because I just don't use my bread machine very often. My mum gave it to me a few years ago and I've kept it in the cupboard because I just think one day I'm going to use this. Not very minimal of me, I know, but today is that day. I'm going to pull it out and try a recipe in the bread machine using some sourdough. And it's pretty much just a dump and go, which is what really attracted me to this recipe. You just dump all the ingredients into the bread machine pot and turn it on. And you actually just turn it onto the dough cycle and let that knead and rise and do its thing in the bread machine. So it's a nice warm spot for it. And then come back later, take out the mixer needle thingy that's in the base of the pot, and then set it to bake. And I think it turned out pretty well. It's not as soft as I would like, but it does have that beautiful sourdough flavour, and it's been perfect for toast and sandwiches, and it's a recipe that I'll just keep improving on, hopefully, as time goes on. While I'm pouring out the bone broth here, I thought I'd just give you a little pregnancy update, because I realised I kind of dropped the bomb of me being pregnant and I haven't really spoken about it much since, but I'm currently about 24-ish weeks pregnant. I feel like the more children you have, the quicker time goes on through the pregnancy and you sort of forget where you're at. But I'm pretty sure I'm about 24-ish weeks at the time of filming this video. And a little gender reveal, get ready, get ready, get ready. We are welcoming a precious little boy into our family, which we are just so excited about. I kind of had a feeling it was going to be a boy. Josh thought it was going to be a girl, and we are just so pleased. I feel like you're just pleased whatever you get, aren't you? But I do really feel like this is the perfect addition to our family. A little boy, Lord willing, in October. With the bone broth, I do like to take off the fat eventually, so I'll just let the bone broth sit on the counter for a while and then pop it into the fridge later on. And then when I come to use it, I just scrape off the fat that collects at the top and use that for eggs and anything else that I'm frying up, really, nice in onions and garlic. And that's just a lovely way of having a dairy-free fat choice that's not olive oil or anything else that we have in the cupboard, but it's a cheap way of having some fat, so I really like to do that. For dinner this evening, I am just prepping something called a sausage casserole, which it's a bit of a sausage casserole with a twist. It's one my mother-in-law introduced. We have a cookbook that she gave to Josh when he left home, that she used a lot when they were all growing up. There's 3 children in the family, and all those recipes are such like classic British meals that are just really super easy, super delicious, and very kid friendly. And so I've been going through them slowly and kind of starring the ones that I really like and experimenting with new ones. This one today I have done a lot in the past, however I didn't have all of the ingredients that it calls for, so it's slight twist to it, but it's just got onions, garlics. I added some broccoli to this. You're supposed to add peas as well, and lots of sausages, and then you let that cook on the stove and add some milk, and then some tinned beans, some Heinz beans, and then you add in some tomato paste and some chilli, if that floats your boat, if you like a little bit of chilli. We opted out of the chilli just because the children aren't huge fans, so we just kept it quite plain, and then I added some chilli flakes on top of mine and Josh's just for that little bit of extra flavour.
Take a step into the river, get down on your knees. Come to the mountain
one thing that I've been really inspired by recently is just, well, it's nothing too major, but it's something I always grew up with. My mum was always one that followed this pattern, and I didn't really think anything of it. But actually, the idea that getting ready can be so life-changing, like life-changing for just the time at home and how the household runs. I find that if I'm dressed and if I'm ready for the day and I've taken that time, I'm a lot more present. I don't feel so slobby. Like, I think when I'm just in a jumper and some leggings, I tend to just feel blur. And if my hair's not done or it's not washed, I feel that. And so, not that anything specifically wrong with that. It's not like it's a sin, but it just feels really nice to put on a nice dress, do your hair and makeup, just even a little bit, and that's made a huge difference to how I've felt at home and my energy levels in the home, especially coming out of the first trimester. I spent a lot of time in pyjamas and in bed, and quite right as well, I think, each to its own season. But for me now, it's felt really precious and important for me to get ready and get back into things and just be dressed for the day and not feel so lazy, because as a homemaker, if I'm lazy, then the household just goes to pot. And there's always lots to do and lots to keep up on. My husband is great. He's super, super, super helpful. But it's just those finishing touches that as a mum you see and really make a difference. And so getting dressed has just been huge for me. And I want to encourage you in that, just to try it for maybe a week. And it does take some getting used to, like it does take some time. And you have to sort of plan ahead, especially if you have young children and young babies, when the time to get ready is. That could be at 11 o'clock in the morning, that could be first thing when you wake up, before the kids wake up, that could be while the kids are awake, playing around, depending on the kids' ages. But it's just been super, super special for me to learn that, and yeah, I thought I'd share that with you. I hope you find that a little bit encouraging. So the bread turned out really well. It had kind of a hard crust on it, which was sort of nice because the inside was really soft and chewy. And I was really glad to have tried the recipe. I think I'll definitely be trying it again. This is post-kids now. Post-kids have gone to bed. I've lit a candle because that just feels like a relaxing way to keep doing some household things. I've decided I'd like to make a cake this evening because in the morning we have a Bible study. I host a ladies' Bible study at our house that we've recently started doing, so it's really nice to have some home-baked stuff on the table. It's not obviously necessary and it's not expected at all, especially with the season that we're all in, but it's just really nice to have a little bit of cake, a little bit of a cookie or something, and it does last a few days. And then we also host an evening Bible study as well, so if we have any spare, I'll serve it for that too. And it just feels like a touch of home and a touch of something special to give to guests when they come over, even though obviously, like I said, it's not expected and it's not necessary, but it's a really nice thing to add if you do have the time and capacity. This is a simple Mary Berry recipe for a Victoria sponge. I've done this before and it definitely turned out better than how it did today, but for some reason I think it's just maybe the temperature or the specific eggs that I used, but it didn't turn out perfect, but it's done a good enough job. Today is a fresh new day and I've just been so excited to change these bed sheets. It's been something on my chores list for a few days and I just haven't got round to it. I think it's the idea of being in the bedroom alone and the kids downstairs. So I like to try and choose my time when Josh is around to try and get all the bedding off and have a good tidy around the bedroom. Our bedroom is very small and we have a lot of things in here, so I'd like to go through and declutter it, not least for my own mental clarity and peace, but just for the function of the room. We need to do something with it, but we have too many projects going on at the moment to even think about tackling it, so I'm going to put that out of my mind before I get too tied up in that. But it's really nice just to change fresh bed sheets. I try and only keep one set of bed sheets per bed. The children do have a couple for their cots and beds just because of accidents and things like that. But for our bed sheets, now we have a tumble dryer, which is a new addition to the family as of a few months ago. I like to just try and do it in one day, get it all done as fast as possible, and climb into bed with warm, fresh, crisp bed sheets, which always feels amazing. As a lot of you guys know, we have been renovating our bathroom. And we've been doing that ourselves and it's been a slow process and we're finally on the end of it. But in the meantime, this is the hallway between the stairs and the bathroom and it has just collected a ton of stuff over the past few months. Stuff from the projects, stuff that we've used and stopped using, sandpaper, old bits of paint, and these shelves were in the bathroom originally and we took them down while we've been renovating, and I don't think we're going to put them back in, so I'd just like to clear off this hallway, honestly get rid of it all. I don't want to see anything in this hallway. It's been one of those spaces that has bugged me for so long. These shelves definitely needed a clean because they've been here for such a long time, and then I'm just going to clean these right up and put them away in the shed for now while we don't have the right spot for them, because I just think the importance of having a clear space for peace of mind is really, really valuable, especially if you've lead a busy life and you're at home all the time. We kind of forget that these things make such a difference to our home and to our mind, and so it's really nice just to get that sorted. And I didn't film the hoovering up of the hallway, but I gave it a really good hoover with my trusty Henry hoover and got up all the little patches and stains that were there, and that now it just feels amazing. It's just incredible how much doing a small task can make such a big difference to the general function of the day, and I just love it. Last on my list today is just getting some extra bit of garden work done. This is a patio in our back garden that needs a definite revamp. It needs a good old clean and maybe painting of the fence and all sorts. Honestly, I could do all sorts with this area and have so many dreams and visions and different types of furniture and potted plants and all sorts. But like I said earlier, it's just a matter of finding the right season for it, and this is not the one. So I'm just going to go ahead and clean up around here just a little bit, removing some of the leaves that I've been collecting. And I'm not going to do anything fancy. All this furniture, pretty sure we got for free. Definitely this bench we got for free. And I'm just going to dress it with a couple of cushions and keep it really simple, keep it relatively tidy so that the kids can play around in this area and it not be too dirty. I just can't stress the importance of embracing each season that you're in and not feeling bad about the things that you want to do and can't get to because of the season that you're in, whether that's mental health or illness or family life or anything like that. It's just you need to focus on the season that you're in right now and what God has for you in this season, and to just embrace it honestly, because otherwise our lives won't be very joyful. We'll be constantly living for the future and not in the season that we're in right now. I feel like I've said the word season so many times, but I do hope that this encourages you slightly. It's been something that I've been encouraged by from other ladies, and it's such a valuable lesson. And so I'm so glad that you're here with me today, and I look forward to seeing you next Wednesday. God bless and lots of love.